This video is for entertainment purpose only. If someone gets offended
Well, hey, welcome one and all. Casey Ho, my friends. Casey Ho fam, I hope all is well. This is going to be my movie review for Salaam Bombay. I think probably to start off a little bit about this film, it was very hard to find. Very, very hard to find. The professor had to rely on a certain friendly Indian man who lived in L.A., who worked at or owns, I think he may own it, like an Indian bazaar here in the States, for Indian folks basically to get the stuff from back home. And so what I got was this film, and I got it on VHS. And the professor still has a VCR, yes, right on. In America, that's kind of unheard of because most people have pitched that away. Not the professor, always thinking. So I watched this film. I watched this film twice without subtitles. And then I had to go and read a few things about it because I didn't understand everything. I got the gist of it, but there were some things that were being said too quickly that I couldn't figure out. And I have to tell you, man, this film made me sad. It made me very sad. The kind of the plot of this film is there's this young boy, and I think his name was Krishna. And when I first saw this young boy as Krishna, I thought what we were going to have here is this is going to be some kind of telling of Krishna coming in modern time as a little boy to observe, and that was not at all what I got. And he's a little mischievous, and he causes his brother some problems. He wrecks his bike, and Mom is furious, and Mom takes him to the circus and says, when you make 500 rupees, you can come home. Right there, I was like, what the hell is that, dude? Are you kidding me? This little kid. So this little kid is trying to do it, right? He's working, he's trying to do it. But he goes out and runs some errands, he comes back, the circus is gone. Now what? Now he is amongst the street people. And one of the things I read about this is the street kids were really street kids that they used in the filming, and the boy became a rickshaw driver. Like, he didn't act, after this. He does a rickshaw thing, and it was really sad to see this. It was really sad to see, kind of a flashback into the history of India. Especially with, you kind of look at what's going on in India today. I think you have the two Indias kind of, and you can see it like in some of the documentaries I watch. You have the new India modernized, and you have the old India. And sometimes it's across the street from each other. And so you see this huge nation with this huge population kind of transforming from a very rural, non-technological kind of based country going into modern, becoming the superpower. And there's going to be growing pains. Everybody understands that. I completely understand that. But it was sad to see these kids living like this. And so our boy Krishna here kind of gets taken in, I think, if I got that right, taken in by a drug dealer and prostitute, which is always good, right, for a drug dealer and prostitute to be watching out for you. And the prostitute has a young daughter who's a virgin, and of course, if you're in the prostitution business, that's pretty good stuff to be, right? That's the apex of your game right there, that you are the virgin whore, and everybody's lining up to get a piece of you. No offense. And Mom keeps telling, better days, we'll get out of here, better days. And I grew up, personally, I identified with this film, kind of. I grew up very much in poverty. Grew up very much with a absentee mother who would constantly put me in bad positions as a kid, and it was difficult. It was difficult as a child. I didn't really get to enjoy a typical childhood because of the living conditions of poverty and abuse and whatnot. And my heart broke with this this boy watching this, because how often do we see parents put their kids in just impossible situations? Impossible. And in this boy kind of gets a crush on the girl, the prostitute's daughter. If I got this, and correct me if I'm wrong on this. Again, this was no subtitles watching this, and it took a couple times. So please correct me if I get something wrong. I'm not doing it out of malice. But he finds out she's going to be a prostitute, and so they kind of hatch this idea: let's set the place on fire and then escape. And you know, and they get caught, and the Krishna gets his ass whooped, like a thorough beating, and and he kind of loses his gig, and he's got to go out and get these 500 rupees, and we see him breaking into places and stealing money. 500 rupees, I mean, how's a kid going to get that? And it just, man, it was just so heartbreaking to me. It was so heartbreaking to see this face put on poverty, to see this face on this impossible situation. It made me want to go find the mom and just punch her in the face for doing that to her son. Like, who does that, dude? I mean, it was just, I cried. I cried at it. It was sad. It was very sad. But what I will tell you is it was a really good film. This film is going to be hard to watch for a Western person because, number one, find it. Good luck. You got to have the hookups like the professor does. Number two, no subtitles, VHS, like, good luck with that. I mean, everything is going against the Western person who's we're pretty lazy when it comes to films, right? I think we may be the most lazy people of film watching. And but it was, I don't know, man. It was really good. It was deserving to be in the top 100 films. And just so sad. I mean, just absolutely so sad to see this. Irfan Khan, though. I think it was Irfan Khan. Was that a young Irfan Khan that I saw as the letter reader, I think? Irfan Khan, So we had King Khan, my favorite Khan, in there. Very sad movie. Very sad movie. I thought. I mean, and maybe I missed something because of the translation, but it just, watching this young boy trying to get 500 rupees, man. I just wanted to give him 500 rupees. I don't know how much that is, but if I had it, I'd just give it to him. There was a documentary done on my family, not necessarily me, but my kin, my extended family, and it was called American Hollow, and you can find it on YouTube. I think they cut it up in 4 parts, and it was abject poverty, kind of how I grew up in a sense with it, but it nowhere near compares to the poverty that we saw these street kids. And it just, man, I don't know. Professor's rambling right now. This was a really good movie. Very, very sad. Professor gives it an A. I'm going to give it an A. It got an emotional response out of me. Now, I don't know how much of that was because of my own triggers of growing up very, very poor in an abusive family and seeing that kind of, just seeing it on the screen where you can really empathize with this kid. Where he's serving the biscuits and you see him, he occasionally takes a biscuit and puts it in his shirt real quick, and it's like, oh man, it took me back. It took me back to some childhood days. Outstanding film. I'd like to know, I mean, Irfan Khan is credited in it. Is there anybody else I'm missing that's famous from this crew? That, I looked over the crew list, and, nobody's name jumped out. Oh, did we have a Kapoor? I think we had a Kapoor in there, too. Was there a Kapoor? Seems to me like there was a Kapoor. Professor's going to pull it up right now. Let's see. Yeah, well, I probably should have been prepared. I guess, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but a lot of times, Professor, I can't pull it up. I don't know what the heck's going on. And anyways, Professor apologizes. He should be more prepared for this and have this stuff ready to go to pull up instead of just looking for it and wasting your time. Well, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I got a couple more movies that I'm working on. Killzone. I'm going to be doing a movie review on Killzone. and a movie review on Stalingrad, which is a Russian film. The Russians say it's terrible, but because it's too westernized. But you got to start somewhere, I guess. Thank you so much for watching. Namaskar. I really appreciate it. I'll catch you guys later. Peace. Alvida.